To some breaking news out of the sports world now. ESPN confirming to NBC it's cutting ties with its NFL commentator Shannon Sharpe. The move coming after Sharpe, of course, the Hall of Fame tight end, settled a lawsuit accusing him of sexual assault and battery.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I just hit top bottom of the video and we're just gonna hop right into it. So today we will be talking about Shannon Sharpe. So I did do a video about Shannon not too long ago about his settlement. But what we have found out today is that ESPN has now fired Shannon Sharpe. So, well, first, let's hop back into, if you didn't know what went on with the lawsuit real quick, and then I'll get into my opinions and all that shit. But if you didn't know, obviously, well, the world knew this at this point, but Shannon Sharpe had a $50 million lawsuit filed against him by Gabrielle Zuniga, accusing him of rape and a couple other things. And the lawyer in this case is Tony Busby. That's important because if you don't know who Tony Busby has a history for doing things like this and taking cases like this against celebrities. Tried to do something like this against Jay-Z. Jay-Z flipped it on him, but Tony Busby has a history of taking cases that probably, shouldn't have no weight behind them, but he tries to make them have weight behind them because of who they're against. But nevertheless, obviously, we've seen, you had to be under a rock to see, some of the text messages and things like that were put out with Shannon and things of that sort. We don't have to keep going over that.
2 weeks after her attorney announced that they had reached a settlement on that lawsuit. The terms of the settlement were not publicly disclosed. Again, Sharpe has consistently denied any wrongdoing here. He claims that he had a consensual relationship with this woman. Based on court filings in the state of Nevada, she had said that she had met Sharpe back in 2023 at a gym when she was 20 years old and that they had engaged in a relationship over the course of 2 years. And then again, in late 2024, that's when she says she was assaulted by Sharpe, both physically and sexually, and raped at least 2 times. Again.
But eventually, obviously they were going to take it to court. Well, first, we did find out through the last part of it that she was originally offered a $10 million settlement. Obviously she wanted 50, but they offered her a $10 million settlement. They go to court for a little bit. We did, see some proceedings. Gabrielle Zuniga's team stopped showing up, so that's how we knew a settlement was probably coming soon. And then we did eventually get a settlement. Now we are unsure of the amount. Obviously, if it's 10 million, it's between 10 and 50 million. We have a range of that. If I had to guess personally, I would say it's probably in the $15-20 million range, somewhere in that. I don't believe this man. I'm not going to say I don't believe it because he might have had to, but I hope and pray Shannon did not have to give her $50 million. So we did see the news after that of Gabrielle Zuniga saying she's retiring from OnlyFans, and of course she is. With all that money, she should stop doing that. Maybe, obviously, I'm big, on making passive money, so hopefully, she invests her money well. I mean, it would be hard to blow that much money, but hopefully she invests her money well and doesn't do anything stupid. But that's really all the details from that settlement. So what we have found out now is that ESPN has fired Shannon Sharpe, obviously, because of these actions. So Shannon Sharpe hasn't been on ESPN. Obviously he was on First Take with Stephen A. from a couple times a week after Skip and Shannon basically went off the air because him and Skip fell out. But and some some other things behind the scenes. But so like I said, he hasn't been on there since April. They were going to give him some time, obviously, with the new allegations and things of that sort. But they have now officially fired him.
To get started, obviously, I'm sure everybody's heard the news by now that I will not be returning to ESPN. I found out this information a little earlier in the week. And really, the only thing that I really ask is, like, guys, could we wait until Monday? My brother's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I really want it to be about him, and I want it to be about my family. I know this coming out will overshadow everything that he's worked his entire life for. And unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. And so as I told him, as I profusely apologized to him earlier today, he said, bro, stop apologizing. You don't have to apologize. I'm your big bro. I'm going to love you regardless. We all make mistakes. And he says, bro, I love you. So I'm done with this. You're done with it too. Move on. And I really enjoyed my time at ESPN. It gave me an opportunity to bring my audience that saw me really just grow. They saw me, Lakers in 5, and they saw me say all these analogies that my grandparents gave me, and I was able to bring that to ESPN. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But I just wished, of all things, like I said, hey, they did what they felt they needed to do, and I'm at peace with that. But I just wish, guys, this thing could have waited until Monday, because I hate the fact that I'm overshadowing my brother, the first two brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and this is what the headline's going to be for the next couple of days. So, bro, again, I know you told me this, I don't have to apologize, but I'm going to do it one final time tonight, and I won't apologize again. I'm sorry that I upstaged you in this manner. That was never my intent. You've been my hero. You've been my role model from as long as I can remember. And I apologize, and I thank all my fans for supporting me when I was at ESPN and every place that I've been, be it Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, Undisputed, ESPN. Thank you guys for your support.
I kind of saw this coming because I definitely saw this coming once the settlement, especially once Tony Busby and them won't show up to court and the settlement was coming, because the settlement in a civil case is basically like pleading guilty in a criminal case, if you think about it. It's basically admitting to what you did. You settled, so that's admitting that you R-word somebody, what she's accusing you of and other things. So that's, obviously somebody by ESPN who is, now we know is owned by Disney and things of that sort. They're not going for that. Obviously Disney, a very clean cut, clean image. At least they try to be. And they're just not, simply going for somebody on the roster who has technically admitted to R-wording somebody. So it was a nasty look. But Shannon, it's funny as hell because people was talking about he should just listen to Monique. And that Monique advice it didn't sound crazy in the moment. It sounded smart in the moment. But the fact that it came to light like this is absolutely crazy. It was kind of like she just predicted this. Like it was crazy as hell.
This dating thing, because Mo is different now than when you and I.
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
But you tried to say what you tried to say. Mo,
I'm looking right at you.
I know you looking at me.
I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Damn, Mo.
Now I'm looking right at y'all. Let me tell y'all what Shannon needs.
Let me live my life.
Let me tell you what my baby needs. He need him an old fat gal who can bake good cakes, make some smothered turkey wings, who gonna rub his feet at the nighttime, okay, and gonna have a sip of his cognac to make him feel better about himself when he come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old ass and get you an old bitch out there that can love you old. You trying to hang out with these young bitches and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it. Damn. When they want you to go for the 4th round, you looking at her like, bitch, listen, you want some money to go to Starbucks?
Yeah.
Because I can't go no further. But if you get your older girl, when you get to that 4th round, she's going to say, hold on. Let me go get you some eggs and cheese and some toast with apple butter, because that's going to get your energy back up.
But obviously we know Shannon still has Club Shay Shay and the podcast things, also all that. So obviously he'll still have ways of making money. I mean, obviously he's already made a lot of money in his career. Probably, now won't get that $100 million deal done. So she definitely hold him out of $100 million plus whatever she got. So damn, that's crazy as hell to think about. She holding that man out of 100 and plus whatever. Damn. Damn. But yeah, like I said, probably won't get that deal done. I believe this will be Shannon Sharpe's last time on public TV, because he really damn near doesn't have anywhere else to go. I mean, NBC, but NBC's coming back in the sports, but come on, bro. But obviously we know Shannon Sharpe, after his career started at CBS. If you haven't seen, there's another interview of this, and she's a white woman too, but she's older. She's more in Shannon's range, and she said she had sex with him from the time from when he was playing in the league and when they were younger. Her and Shannon had a pretty serious relationship, she said. Then she ended up getting married to another man. At the time, Shannon didn't like this, and they got into an altercation about this, and she said that he forced her to do, obviously have intercourse with him. So
press room at the Broncos, April of 2002. And we dated until the 2010 incident. And then it came to abrupt end because I wanted, we were arguing and he was threatening me and stuff like that after, but I didn't see him again after he me. So I had said no. And I said no, even though I was thinking that. And so it was the hardest. Yeah, this is too hard.
It's not. And I also said that he's threatened and essentially stalked her life. I'll put some parts of her interview here and shit. But because of when these allegations first came out in 2018, that's when he ended up taking the lead for CBS and things of that sort. So usually after that, you are luckily he lucked into Skip and Shannon. And Skip and Shannon became such a phenomenal, a phenomenon in the community basically. So that was the thing. But obviously things went sour between them and some other things. But and then now we know he's at ESPN and basically he got fired because a settlement means he admitted to R-wording somebody. So yeah, this is definitely probably our last time seeing Shannon Sharpe on public national TV. But obviously he'll still have the other things going. But it is sad to see. And multiple women are accusing you of this. It sounds like you might have a pattern of behavior. This, so I don't know, but that's all I gotta say though. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I just hit top bottom the video, and we out.